Hi guys, welcome to another Chess Patzer UK video. Today, I'm not doing the live commentary, which I've done for the last couple of days, because we're going to try something a little bit different today and move back to live commentary tomorrow. Today, I've managed to get International Master Adam Hunt, who's just above me there. He's going to help me through some difficult games. I'm really looking forward to his help, shall we say, because I think what we found out when you got two Patzers commentating on top class games is we're really bamboozled a lot of the time. And I'm sure some of these games are going to be really deep and challenge Adam too. But it's lovely to have him on board to help me out. On the back of this, we're going to also try live commentary again on Sunday. We've got a Ginger GM Simul at 12 o'clock BST on Sunday, well, afternoon, early afternoon. Following that, the Olympiad starts about 2ish. So me and Adam are going to then go live and attempt to do some live commentary and cover as many games. By then, hopefully the competition would have warmed up a lot as well, because there was no upsets, funny enough, first couple of rounds, but maybe by then we'll have the top guys against the top guys, so hopefully some really interesting heavyweight contests against each other. So if you just want to say hello, Adam.
Sure, yeah. Hi to everybody watching. It's nice to see you all, and virtually. And yeah, we're just going to be doing look at maybe one, possibly two games today. From what are we in? Third round of the Olympiad?
Yep.
Third round. So this is the stage when it's starting to heat up, I would say. There were some quite high level matches yesterday, but today you get some much closer matches. And I think we'll probably see that either some upsets or some draws, which you might not expect.
Yeah, no, it's been really interesting. I mean, I think I've seen a 1900 beat a 2500 so far, which and also I think a 2200 beat a 2700.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, China's board 4. Li Chao, who's
he's good, right?
he's like the best 2700 you've never heard of. Yeah, he lost to the Moroccan board 4. I think it was the second round yesterday. Anyway, it was a really good game by the Moroccan guy. He held his nerve.
Yeah, no, I think the same for the guy who beat Amand, who was the Canadian GM that managed to lose against the 1900 candidate master. And you just imagine him to choke, right? Because you got such a big prize in front of you.
Yeah, absolutely. There's all other factors in play. You're playing for your team.
Yeah.
You're playing for your country.
Yeah.
You've got cameras watching, and if you look at any of the live commentary and coverage, it looks like basically there's cameras, pretty high quality kind of coverage wherever the commentary wants to go.
Yeah, no, I've actually loved it. Nearly every board's on a DGT, isn't it? So it's not like sometimes you see these competitions and you don't get to see the lower down boards, but they're everywhere.
Exactly, and I think they will go pretty much anywhere. Some of the lower boards they might not visit so much, but yeah, there's obviously the opportunity there for the lower rated player to cause an upset. I mean, I've played in a tournament called the European Club Cup, which is going to happen in a few weeks actually, but it's a similar sort of thing, but obviously then you don't have the country element to it and the pressure of that, which must just add and make the thing firstly much more tense, but secondly probably also much more enjoyable.
Yeah, I'm imagining
the business.
Yeah, the team atmosphere with representing your country, that must be massive, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you see, for example, Garwayne Jones has just managed to hold a draw from a really tough position that he should have lost. Yeah. But at the end of the day, he must just feel absolutely amazing because he's got his team the draw.
Well, it was a massive switch, wasn't it? No, his team won. Because that's the point.
Yeah, his team's won. Yeah, no, of course, yeah.
He must have been thinking, "Oh no, I've cost us something here," and then suddenly he's actually turned into a bit of a hero.
Yeah. So, it's one of those tournaments that, as a chess fan, you'd actually love just to be there, and you just
I think the same actually. What I will ask you actually, it came up the other day, and I couldn't think of an answer for it when I was just burbling about it. But what would you say was the higher level of team competition, the Olympiad or the Team World Championship, and why?
Okay, so as far as I understand, are we talking about the Team World Championship where only certain teams are invited?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Is that the difference? Is the Olympiad all inclusive?
So there's, as far as I remember and understand, there's three big tournaments. There's the European Team Championship,
Yep.
which any European team can play in, and there's the World Team Championship, which has only got a certain number of invitees, and it's something of the order of, from what I remember, 12 to 16.
Oh wow! So they've been very selective,
including, let's say, one African country, one Asian country, the hosts, some wild card, and then you have maybe 6 or 7 highest rated teams. So you might be better comparing the European Team Championship to the Olympiad in terms of strength.
Okay. But then that's just the European guys, I'm guessing.
Yeah, exactly. So then you miss out on, for example, America. You miss out on China and India.
You need them all there. So this is basically the marquee event then, marquee team tournament.
Yeah, for sure.
Right,
for sure.
That makes a lot more sense. All right, dude. Well, I guess we should start on the analysis.
Okay.
I'm going to be black and I'm going to be ding. I'm going to try and work out how a 2804 thinks because, you know, that's what I aspire to be one day. Yeah, maybe not. So let's start.
Sorry, what do you want to aspire to be? 28?
28, yeah, maybe 28. Yeah, that might be more accurate.
2800. So I read today, I saw it on the Chess 24, that Ding hasn't lost in 80 classical games of chess.
80? Oh my word.
Yeah.
Hang on, Wesley So. What was Wesley So's record? Because he had the record, right?
Wesley So was something of the order, I can't remember exactly. They were talking about years with Wesley, I think.
Yeah.
And Ding's must be years now.
Yeah, I mean.
I think he's third in the world. Was he now fourth in the world? He's third or fourth.
He might be second, no? I mean, I'm trying to think. No, Karana is right up there now,
second, and I think Mamedjarov, who has had some pretty good results recently, is probably third.
Okay.
So I'm guessing he's fourth.
Did Ding actually broke his leg or his arm or something recently as well? Didn't he have to withdraw?
He couldn't play. Yeah, he had to withdraw from.
He fell off a bike.
He withdrew from a tournament.
It was Norway, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. You wouldn't think you need it, would you?
Well, no, you know exactly right. I guess the pain would cut you down a little bit, and maybe even the drugs, the painkilling drugs, might deaden your chest a tiny bit, or it'd make you really calm. I'm not sure.
Seen this famous the picture of Tony Miles?
Yep.
So Tony Miles, Britain's first grandmaster, playing on a bed. So he was in, I think it was a tournament in Lone Pine in the USA. My memory isn't quite there with it, but he basically played, I think, the whole tournament just lying on a bed, playing his opponents. It was either one game or a tournament, but
I mean, is that dedication or did he
get the picture up?
Yeah, is that dedication or is that did he need to earn some money? Because I don't know what would push me to play chess in my sick bed. Well, I'll look for that picture because it must be online somewhere. But I'll do that after the game.
Thanks,
so we do digress a little bit. Let's see what Emilio Cordova, who's no mug. I mean, he's 2600. You know, anyone around that rating should know what they're doing, right? Especially in the open.
So this is who's let's just say who's this? Which team are China playing against here? They're playing against, looks like Peru, right?
Yeah, it's Peru. Yeah.
So Peru's most famous chess player doesn't seem to be playing in this Olympiad.
He's the oldest, highest rated guy or something silly like that they've ever had. It's Julio Grande or something. Is that
Julio
right?
Grande Zuniga.
That's the guy. Yeah.
And that, to me, is, firstly, I'm pretty sure he's played every... I don't know exactly, but he's played a lot of Olympiads. And if you look at the construction of their team, they've got this guy, George Corey, who's a young, very promising player on board 3. And unless he was dropped today, but I don't think he was, I don't think this Grande Zuniga's playing.
Oh, it must be politics, Adam. That kind of thing happens. Politics is involved.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
Maybe he's arguing about his appearance fee. Who knows? No, I can't believe that. You'd represent your country no matter what, right? As long as they
Yeah.
put you in a hotel and point
And
you to the way.
Grand Zuniga has a reputation for being, firstly, an extraordinarily nice
Oh
guy.
right, okay.
So I'm pretty sure that money isn't going to be factor. There might be obviously other reasons why he couldn't play in this particular
Well, probably
tournament.
be able to find out. We can update in
But
another
actually,
stream.
if you look at the construction of their team, if they did have him playing, then they'd have 26, 20, 26, 60, 26, 60,
Yeah,
which
no,
would be
yeah.
obviously a bigger challenge for some other teams. Whereas as you look at those on that list, I think they got a 2,500 on board 2 and a 2,580 on board 3. So it would have made a difference for sure.
They got two 2600s. I think you got. It's weird how they've done the board order on Chess 24. I'm not convinced that the people that are looking like they're on board 1 are on board 1. Because
it's true for the first round. I don't think that happened, but now I'm pretty sure it's right.
Oh, okay. So you're allowed to do that, are you? You're allowed to play a slightly weaker player on board 1, and then work your way down. Because look, they had an IM 25. Well, he's 2494, but we're calling 2500, and he seems to be on board 2. Why would you have your 2660 highest rated guy on board 3?
The only thing I can think of, I completely agree, and there must be a rule in the Olympiad. There must be a rule. You can't start doing weird stuff like
that's just bizarre, isn't it?
Bottom board.
You got to play your best against the best, right?
So the only thing I can think of is that the guy on board 2 is a substitute. So he's come in for this particular round, and so you can substitute on any board.
Okay.
And
maybe he's
push the other players down, but that's a bit weird. So I don't really understand it. We should study the Chess Olympiad rules a bit more carefully, I think.
Yeah, no, because I noticed this in other games, and I was a bit confused by all of it. But yeah, maybe it's a rule.
Maybe, for example, you would, look at England's team. You have, it's not such a big difference, but you have David Howell, who's actually the second highest player, playing below Luke McShane, who is 50 points only, maybe not even that much below him. But Kramnik's playing on board. What's he playing on board 2 or 3 for Russia? Maybe board 3.
Yeah, so the Russia team was another one where I just didn't quite understand the board order. But like you say, there must be a rule we can look up and then find out.
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's do our homework next time.
Yeah, we did sort of throw in a little bit on this one, guys. So you're just gonna have to bear with as we get our way through it. Someone in the chat saying I should say that I should put Chess 24. I think it's pretty clear we're on Chess 24. And I'm commentating with I am Adam Hunt, and it also says that along the bottom. So guys, pay attention. Come on. I am trying. I will get you a little name plaque though. That would be nice for you. I think that looks smart. So I'll get you.
I'd love a name plaque. Yes,
I'm going to get you one of those for Sunday.
Okay.
Right.
Excellent.
Now we're going to try and start
this game.
Yes, exactly. Right. So Emilio, he went for knight f3. So I'm out of book. That's already a bit of a downside. And I sort of stumble across and move my f pawn forward 2 squares here, Adam. So it's probably not going to happen with Dinlering. He's gone g6. Okay, well that's okay. So that's pretty flexible, isn't it? So no idea what it's going to be yet.
So first of all, it's worth pointing out that Ding Liren is the, if you like, or was the main kind of go-to guy if you want to study the King's Indian in this kind of modern age, shall we say?
Oh right, okay, yeah, that's good to know.
So in the olden days, or just before that, you would have people like Nakamura, and it's not like olden days at all. But obviously, then before that, you had Kasparov, or you had other players before that. But Ding is basically a King's Indian player. So by playing 1g6, can we move pieces backwards and forwards, or can we not do that?
Yeah, you just let me know what you want to move and I'll just move them around.
Okay, so for example, against knight f3, which is a flexible move, g6 could be met quite well by e4.
Oh, you can just play e4 straight away.
Yeah, and then so g6, e4.
Yep.
And then after bishop g7.
Yep.
d4.
Oh, okay.
So rather than have a King's Indian, you have a modern defense.
Mm-hmm.
And the difference for most people to get between the modern and the King's Indian is that in the King's Indian, white normally has a pawn on c4.
Yeah.
And when white normally has a pawn on c4, he can't castle queenside.
Yeah, okay.
Or he can castle queenside, but it's a bit more risky.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So, because he hasn't got a pawn on c4, it gives white further attacking options based upon basically sticking his bishop on e3, his queen on d2, casting on the queen side and playing h4, h5 and trying to go for an attack on the king side.
But I'm guessing Ding Liren's pretty good. I mean, he could have just played knight f6 and avoided all that. So maybe he doesn't mind if it gone this way?
Absolutely. I mean, that's what most people who would play the King's Indian would do against knight f3. They would go knight f6 and just not allow it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And that would be what I would recommend if you were a King's Indian player. Knight f and knight f6, g3, g6, bishop g2, bishop g7, castles, and then you go from there. As it was in the game, it looks like it turned into... Was it King's Indian? I don't even know if it was. Let's see.
We'll soon find out. It's looking like it. He's played knight f6. Someone's just reminded me that it's actually... They're not talking about my stream. They want me to update the Twitch... Twitch, what's it called, title, so that they know what we're doing, so they can turn up. So I'm just going to quickly do that. It only takes seconds.
Sure.
And then we'll get back to the game. Now they're making sense. I'm like thinking, why are they saying that? I'm pretty sure it's all over the stream what we're doing. This is what they're talking about. So it's a bit of a tip for you, Adam, actually, for when you finally get around to setting up your own Twitch account, because I'm sure you're going to do that.
Is what? You have to update your title?
Yeah, basically. You'll be amazed how many times people go, wasn't it your birthday last week? You're like, yeah, oh yeah, they're talking about the stupid title again. Or even like when you said you're going to play the Ginger GM and you're not, you're just playing random games on League Chess. And they're like, this doesn't look like a Ginger GM simule. And you're like, okay, yeah, I'll get it. I forgot again. Alright, so that's done.
Nice.
Let's get back to it.
Rockin' Eagle is going to be happy.
Yeah, he can relax now. He feel good because he's done a good thing today. So he's gone knight f6 now, so he's definitely stopping e4, which is interesting because, like you just said, if he didn't care about e4, he could have just played bishop g7 there, couldn't he, and just still tempted white to play e4.
Yeah, absolutely. And in this position, there's quite a good, clever, well, not that clever move order, but white can go knight c3 and basically try and trick black into a modern again. And that will then require, if black doesn't want that, to play the move d7 to d5. And that's completely against a king. That's going against what black wants in a King's Indian setup. Yeah. He always wants his pawn on d6. So, for example, in this position, Mark Hebden always plays knight c3.
Yeah.
Because he trusts his attacking ability. If his opponent will play bishop g7 and go for it, so instead of g3 there, you'd have to take that one back.
Yeah, no, I did. Yeah, so you have to bear with me. I know there's a slight delay. But I'm cack-handed, but I know what you're talking about, and I do get there eventually. So it should be on the board now.
But of course, the slight drawback of playing knight c3 is that after the pawn up to d5, you don't have the option of playing a kind of pawn up to c4 to exchange them off and open up a few more files.
So knight can be in the way. What's the benefit of having the knight on c3 then here then? Is that just so you can play e4 at some point? Not straight away, I'm guessing.
Sorry, rather than to play... Like, why?
Well, if black's played d5 and you've obviously...
So you'd like to play c4?
Right, yeah, I know, I get that, but say what's the benefit...
So you mean how is white going to play now, do you mean?
Yes, exactly.
Right, so white will basically play something like bishop to f4.
Okay.
And then after maybe bishop to g7, he'll probably go queen to d2.
Oh, okay, and then just castle queenside.
And he'll probably castle queenside, yeah, and just try and just swap off the bishop on h6.
To be fair, this looks quite hacky. I'm liking it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if you look at Mark's games, he wins a lot of... he's a very, very good attacking player. In the olden days, 20 to 30 years ago, when he was playing the sort of Grand Prix circuit, so in England there was a Grand Prix, it was heavily sponsored, so a lot of very strong players were playing week in, week out along the circuit. Then you'd have these hacky openings because you want to win the games and come first on your own. So he used to play.
Is that literally it then? Do you think that's why we get so many draws at the top level, because their incentives aren't quite right? But if you incentivize people, they'll go hell for leather and try and win games.
I would say sort of. First of all, obviously the margin, at the highest level, the quality of the players are so close that you're not going to have that many different results. Whereas in a kind of weekend tournament in England, for example, you would have still, a GM against a 200 or a 180, and they would or should beat them. I went and played a few tournaments out in America, where they have very high prize funds and very kind of fast games. So you would play sometimes even 3 games a day.
Ooh.
So over, let's say a 9-round tournament would be 2, 2, 2, 2, and then maybe 1, or it would be 3, 2, 2, 2. So you'd be playing a lot of chess very fast, and because the prize money is very high, you'd have a lot of very kind of sharp, like aggressive chess.
That sounds good. I think that's what the chess world
I would
needs.
highly recommend if to any kind of amateurs out there who are interested in picking up some serious money and they want to think about it seriously. America is a very interesting place to go because all the tournaments, let's say one of the big tournaments like the North American Open or the US Open, you're going to have to obviously pay to get out there, and you're going to have to pay a reasonably high entry fee.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are some huge prizes.
Do they cut it off by sections, or do you just have to massively over?
No, they cut it off by sections. So let's say the under 1800 might carry, on one of the bigger tournaments, the 1800 section might carry a $10,000 to $15,000 first prize.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, seriously, serious money.
Oh, I think I'm moving. I'll put my visa application.
But you have to provide your own chessboard and you have to provide your own chess set. It's funny.
Is that right? Wow, that a £10,000 prize, and you have to do that.
Oh, it's hilarious. I went to play in the North American Open, which is played in Las Vegas. Okay, so it's always just after Christmas in Las Vegas, and always starts on Boxing Day. And basically what happens is this tournament organizer who runs all these big tournaments, he hires the hall, but he doesn't have any equipment. So everybody has to turn up with their own boards and sets. So we had, I was playing in the open section, and the top board was a Spanish grandmaster called Vallejo Pons. He's a 2700 plus player. And he turns up for maybe the first or the second round, and he doesn't have a board or a set. In fact, maybe it was a slightly later round because he was playing another grandmaster, and the other grandmaster wasn't from America, so he didn't know he had to bring a board and a set. So they were basically sitting there, trying to work out how they were going to start their game because they didn't have a board and a set. So what happens is you have to go and buy a board and a set from the local bookstall, and you have to buy a clock, and then away you go. So.
I mean, the 2 players you mentioned, I mean, surely they're good enough to just have a blindfold game there, Adam. I don't think you need a board.
Yeah, that's maybe what they could have done, I suppose. But you probably still need to have a clock.
All right, fair play. But then again, your phone, it's a very easy app nowadays.
Yeah, and
that sounds. I don't understand how there's that much money involved, and yet they can't be bothered to buy. I mean, how much is a chess set? I mean, a plastic chess set and a board. What's that, about tenner? If that?
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, if you're going to that sort of tournament, there's going to be a little bit of a markup from brought your own, and you need one as well. So the bookstall's not doing too badly, I suspect.
No, for a change.
Anyway,
normally you just walk by. Sorry.
So that's a big tip. If you go to a tournament in America, take your own chessboard.
That's good. And win 10 grand. Don't forget that small portion.
Yeah, win 10 grand. Right, let's get back to the game because we haven't got very far.
No, we have not. This is just like the real Olympiad, to be honest. For the first 2 hours, we'll be in this position. So this is like real life. We're just playing as though it's real. So he's played G3. Is this like a Catalan? Is there a Catalan when there's a G6? Is that still a Catalan, or is this something else?
No, not really.
So it is a King's Indian still?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically you choose in this type of position as black, now that you've committed to G6, you commit to playing your pawn to D5, or you commit to playing your pawn to D6. And now, from memory, I seem to remember that actually Dean puts his pawn on D5. So let's see. And it turns into a Grimfeld. I don't think quite yet, but let's see.
Okay, so yeah, he fianchettos, white fianchettos, castle, and now d5, as you say.
Yeah.
So why has he decided to go d5 and, like you say, a Gronfield rather than trying to keep the structure of a King's Indian? What's the advantage of going straight d5 here?
Okay, so one useful thing maybe to point out if we put the pawn back on d7.
Yep, done.
Is that the typical King's Indian plans against the fianchettoed white bishop don't work so well.
Ah.
So this pawn structure, although it's slightly, some might say it's slightly weaker to have a fianchetto position, you don't have the same typical plans of basically your opponent isn't going to close the center. So he's not going to, when you play e5, he's not going to play d5.
Right, yeah.
And then you can't get in f5, and you can't start walking your pawns towards his king on the king side so easily.
Okay.
So that's not the end of the story by any means, but it's just a bit harder to play. So actually the so-called fianchetto King's Indian, as we call it, where white plays pawn g3, bishop g2 and castles, is quite an effective way of meeting the King's Indian in that respect.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. I think I've toyed with so many, as a patzer that I am and an amateur player in general. I've toyed with the King's Indian, I've toyed with the Dutch, etc. And I think with the King's Indian, I think I've walked into stuff like this against G3, and I've tried to do D6 and E5. And like you just said, they swap everything off, they pin my knight on F6, and it's really uncomfortable.
Yeah, you have to be obviously ready for it. I mean, as you can see by the position, after the move d5, it looks like it should be just completely equal, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't feel cramped as black. I don't know what I'm doing with my dark square bishop. I've got to say, if white played c3 here, I would be a bit... I guess I play c5, but then am I weakening my d pawn? These are silly worries that amateur players have. What's black's plan here? Are we waiting for white to come for us, or are we going to be trying to be active?
To be honest, I never feel comfortable playing these type of positions, because I don't like, even as black, even against a really good player, I don't like symmetry. I just don't like it. I never feel comfortable in basically having to react. So in certain positions here, for example, white will maybe push his a pawn to try and gain a little bit of space with a4, a5.
Yeah,
black might do the same. In fact, in this position, the sort of main theoretical move is to play c4 to initiate some pressure.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's quite difficult to play, I would say. Well,
this could be very interesting then, because obviously, unfortunately, we can see the result. But it'd be nice to see how black actually follows through, and like you say, in a position that, well, what I'm seeing, I can't see where my breaks are going to come from. It'd be very interesting for me to see how he does it.
Yeah, so I think c4 was played.
Oh yeah, let me play a couple more moves. Yeah, c4, c6 makes sense.
The main theoretical move after c4 is to take it.
Oh really? He didn't.
No, he didn't. Interestingly, he just played, I think, c6 just to bolster the centre.
Is it worth having a look at the d takes c line?
Sure, why not? Because it leads to a very interesting and slightly counterintuitive idea for black. So pawn takes pawn.
Yep.
And then there's two moves for white, or two main moves. The problem is it's sometimes quite difficult to win this pawn back. So normally white chooses in this position between knight e5 and knight a3.
I like both. They're both doing the same thing,
let's look at knight e5, because that's the one that's slightly counterintuitive.
Okay, we'll go knight e5.
And this is really my old memory. I haven't played much chess in a long time. Because for here, can you think what might black play against this one? Because you've got this nice diagonal, you're going to take back on c4, you've got a fairly easy life.
Yeah, I'm not playing b5, that's for sure.
You're definitely not playing b5.
No, I guess just c6, but I'm already thinking, am I just giving white what he wants?
Yeah, you sort of are, and that's a little bit like, I suppose, a little bit like a Catalan maybe, is that white sometimes has a bit of pressure down the, excuse me.
That's right.
A little bit of pressure down the diagonal. So in this position here, I believe that black's best move is to play knight c6,
Oh, really? Okay.
which is
I wouldn't even
very
consider this.
strange,
Yeah.
but very, very kind of concrete, if you like.
So we're threatening the d pawn. So
So
probably
exactly, you're threatening the d pawn, so he doesn't have time to take on c4 in this moment.
No.
And you would naturally here take on c6 with the knight.
Yep. And then we get ourselves some nice triple pawns.
You give yourself some nice triple pawns. And he's probably going to take it with his bishop.
Yeah, we'll have that. Okay. Gosh, I'm not liking this line, Adam. I can't wait to see what happens.
Okay. Give me a moment. So bishop takes c6, and then you play bishop h3.
Just bishop h3.
Yeah.
Okay, attacking the rook, so pulls the bishop back, I guess.
So he can't win an exchange by taking your rook, because you take with your queen, and you threaten checkmate, and you threaten the rook.
Yeah, I'll put that on the board just to show people. And then there's a big mate coming here. If he tries to save the rook, then you win the rook, right? You win it back anyway, right? So
you win it back, and maybe that's not that spectacular for you, but it ensures, I think, black a fairly decent game.
Yeah.
You see, the point is here that white still has 3 pieces on the queen side that are sleeping. So if black is quick enough, then you're going to be all right. You're going to be, you're going to, for example, you're going to liquidate your double c pawns. So let's say bishop g2.
Yeah.
And let's take it.
Yeah, king takes.
King takes, and then let's play some sort of sensible looking move, like maybe give a check on d5.
Yeah, centralise the queen, that makes sense, yeah.
And maybe king g1.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's play rook d8, for instance, rook fd8.
Why wouldn't you play... Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah, rook fd... Yeah, because you have to, because obviously knight c3 is coming, isn't it? So you just want to keep the pressure on.
Yeah, you just want to keep the... I mean, even here, something like pawn to c5 is probably absolutely good as well. But here you can probably already quite quickly see that black is quite fast.
Yeah.
He's quite fast in his activity. And you'll find, in general, I think, that stronger players tend to favour activity over... or they're very good at kind of not worrying too much about so-called static disadvantages, so maybe a bad pawn structure or bishop for knight or whatever it might be, or rook for bishop or exchange, because they realise that the activity is better. The activity is more difficult to play against.
No, I actually now we've got to that point of looking at it. It actually looks fine for black. You know, like I feel comfortable behind that. I must say I've suffered for Catalani sort of positions before, and I wouldn't ever consider knight c6. So that's one for the bank.
Yeah. Okay, he didn't play. He played c6.
No, but thanks for that. little sideline. Yes, he did.
Well, I think it is very, like, if you're looking to improve and looking to build your chess up, whatever level you're at, this idea of playing active, playing dynamically, not fearing. My experience of coaching amateur players is that they sometimes fear a little bit too much.
Oh yeah, I'm terrified when I play. I don't know why I play chess sometimes. I'm already like, what have I done today? I should have just gone to the pub or something.
Yeah. Or even playing against a higher rated player.
Yeah.
You give them too much respect, and they don't like it if you go after them.
No, I agree. All my scalps have been because I've been in that kind of mood where I'm like, no, we've all got the same amount of pieces. I'm going to take as much as I can. I'm not going to sit there and wait for you to get me. I'm going to get you.
Yeah,
and that gets you far. Absolutely. But it's hard to keep that. I don't know why. I don't know what the psychology behind it is, but I'm not like that every time. Sometimes I am sitting there going, oh, I'm scared. So I'd love to just stay the positive guy, because he definitely gets more results.
Yes, of course, and and sometimes you have to be kind of realistic about it, and you have to just that kind of balance is difficult to strike.
Yeah, and I think that's probably every amateur player's problem, or quite a lot of players actually, probably, because there's always a higher level, isn't there?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so let's see what white plays. White plays knight d2. Okay, so again, a bit. I don't want to ask questions every single time I see a new move, because we'll be here forever. But why has he played his knight to d2 and not to c3?
Well, he's going to have otherwise a problem with pawn takes pawn.
Is it just a simple tactical thing? Is it? So
So
knight.
if, for example, he'd have played knights to c3
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
and knight and pawn takes pawn,
Yeah.
and now, for example, he tries knight to e5,
Knight to e5. Yeah.
then we're going to go bishop to e6.
Okay, we're kind of holding it, aren't we?
And it's I think impossible to win the pawn back.
All right, fair enough. So it's just a tactical reason why we go to d2. That makes sense.
So that's normally, for example, a Slav defense where you have d4, d5, c4, c6. Basically, Black's plan is to try and take that pawn at a moment that's convenient because he knows he can play either pawn to b5 or bishop to e6 to guard it, and he'll hold it with his life.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, and that's a winning attempt for Black, isn't it? You just hold on to the mid-heel.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah. Okay, so he tries a5. Okay, that's is he just stopping queenside expansion? Is he trying to undermine the b pawn?
He's making quite a smart move there because he's understanding that with the knight on d2, the only way to really get the bishop on c1 out is to fianchetto it on b2.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So as we'll see in the game, he's gaining a little bit of space, and even after the move b3, which I think was played a bit later,
is next actually.
Okay, I think Black just is going to push his a pawn and just disrupt the queen side.
Yep, he does. So this is all. Is he swapping rooks? Is it advantage to get that black rook out the way? Because I'm guessing the rook's not going to get.
He's probably not going to swap the rooks. He's probably not going to swap the rooks. He's probably going to push his pawn maybe one square even further with bishop b2.
Oh, we'll just leave it on a3.
That would be my guess. Let's see what happened. So did bishop b2 happen?
Yep, it did. But he didn't go. Yeah.
You probably don't need to immediately take on or push the pawn to a3 because, yeah, exactly. You could do something like this first.
Because it stopped the bishop going to c3, right?
And now we can see, I think, that Black is starting to at least muddy the waters a little bit. So now he's threatening, for example, to play pawn to a3 and the bishop can't go to c3.
Yeah.
So it'll have to go back to c1, which is definitely not where it wants to be.
Yeah.
So this forces, well, doesn't force, but White felt obliged to exchange the knights off.
Okay, he did. You're right. Okay. Okay. So he's taken back with a pawn. Obviously, he's taken back with a pawn, but I'm already thinking. I'm guessing he's going knight d2 here, and then you're going to have to defend your e pawn a little bit. Is that something we're going to have to do?
No, because your d pawn's hanging.
Oh yeah, tactical. Yeah, very nice. So if the knight drops back, I'm guessing it will.
It might still be possible to do it for sure, because then you can get the e pawn in exchange. Yeah. You might think, well, maybe knight g5 is a better move then to go after it that way.
Yeah, I've just shown my tactical errors, and then we'll go back to the move that actually doesn't lose anything. So yeah, let's try knight g5.
I don't think your move is too bad, to be honest.
Well, I'll try not to hang too many pawns if I can help it. So yeah, knight g5. Okay, that looks a bit more active, I guess.
But then you'd have to obviously kind of take into consideration the fact that after something like f5, your knight, although it does sometimes come back via h3 and comes to a good square on f4. So after the pawns on f5, for example, Black has some kind of tactical ideas based upon this pin down the long diagonal. So you might have something like pawn to c5, in conjunction with knight to c6, and he's sort of got what he wants to a certain degree.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, okay, that's nice. All right, so putting your knight back on e1. I take it this is theory then. So
I'm not sure.
White's probably chosen to do this. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, I mean he's obviously seen that he's going to have to put his knight back on e1.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to think what White's getting for an advantage here. I mean, if I put the computer
he's getting these double pawns in the middle, isn't he? And he's going to try and take that pawn on e4.
So he's arguing that that's a weakness and that's something he should be able to scoop up if he plays well. If Black plays badly, right? I'm with you. Okay, so Black. Okay, so let me think now. Like it's Black to move. Let me think what I would play, and then you can tell me what I should be playing.
Of course.
So yeah, no, I'm taking into note that what you're saying about the bishop on b2 being on pre. So I'm looking at c5 potentially.
I can't hear you anymore.
Adam,
Hi.
can you hear me now?
I can, yeah.
Yeah, I've had
But,
that a
but
couple
now
of
I've got
times.
an echo.
Yeah. Basically, if I knock the jack where the microphone's plugged in, it just goes silent for a second. So yeah, if it does do
Okay.
that, then just say hello, hello, and I'll get back on
Okay.
it.
Very good.
So basically, I'm saying I'm looking at c5 um, because of the pin on the bishop on b2. I don't really like bishop f5. I mean, obviously, I want to get my pieces out, so I don't know if my knight has any sort of life on a6. I don't know if I care if he takes the a pawn with the b pawn.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah,
yeah,
you have more. You have to probably deal with your pawn on e4, or as you say, play dynamically with pawn to c5 first. And I think you're thinking along exactly the right sort of lines. And I think this is maybe, I reckon this has probably all been prepared by Black to quite a kind of deep level.
I've heard the Chinese players are fairly well prepared, Adam. I don't think it's a rumor.
Yeah, I don't think this is luck that this is good.
Okay, so let's see what he chose. Yeah, he chose c5. Okay, so that does make sense. Thanks for your earlier tips. That's the only reason I got that one. Completely didn't notice that the bishop on b2 was on pre, but there you go. So how do we respond as white? Do we just play e3 here? Just try and
Yeah,
hold it
e3
together?
or knight c2, I imagine.
Yeah, he did knight c2. Okay, that makes more sense because the knight's not really doing a lot on e8, e1. Sorry. And I guess at some point he's going to defend that bishop. Is that what's going to happen? We're going to see queen c1.
If he has the chance, because you can see already that the pressure is starting to build. Well, I suppose it's also starting to build on that. I mean, the pawn on e4 is still hanging.
Yeah.
But knight c6 is a very natural move to obviously threaten the pawn again.
Yeah, which he plays, obviously. It makes total sense. So the whole time he's just saying, oh, you can take that pawn and we'll take the d pawn. And
and that's probably, as I say, it's not... We're looking at the game and we're looking at the 2800 winning and we're going, wow, this is this is going to be a brilliant game. But it's probably still not that, it's not that amazing for Black, I wouldn't have said.
No, I mean, Geary crushed my friend Andrew Greet yesterday. And to be quite honest, for the first 20 moves, it was dead level. And then Geary found a really nice move and Andrew didn't find it. Yeah, exactly. You know the game I'm talking about. And then he cracked and then it all went to pieces. And I think that's true for all these players, isn't it? I mean, they trust their chess to a point. They can't be that bad from the opening. They're only playing... They haven't broken any massive rules here. White hasn't broken any massive rules. So he shouldn't be bad just because he's playing Ding the Ring.
Yeah.
So say we do take... I'll put on the board. I don't know if he plays this. It may be the move anyway, but... Say he takes the e-pawn. What is Black's best response to that then?
Well, the first thing that I think about in this position, because it's essentially a free move, is to play bishop h3.
Bishop h3. Oh, right, okay. So if that bishop ever gets out the way, you develop with tempi because you're attacking the rook.
It's quite a nice kind of move to play if you can get it in for free, for sure.
That's definitely something I'll be looking for in the future. I've never really considered it. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Maybe if I sat there for a while, I'd see it straight away. But yeah, that's a nice instant move you should think about if the bishop ever moves out.
You'd have to do some calculation because although it looks like you're going to have the best of both worlds, you're going to have the pawn on d4 or the rook on f1.
Yeah.
Your opponent could initiate a tactical sequence based upon the fact he can take on c6.
Yeah.
And destroy your kind of attacker on the d4 square.
So even if you took the rook, for instance.
Yeah, so let's say you took on c6, you take on f1.
Yeah.
He takes on b7.
Yeah. Oh.
You play something like rook b8.
Hang on a second. What are we taking the light square bishop with? Oh, you're taking b8. Sorry, I'm with you now. Yeah.
So here we're going to take on b7.
Yeah. With you.
For white.
Yeah. And then we move the rook somewhere to attack the bishop.
Yeah, and then you just would have to calculate whether or not this is working for white to sacrifice. To me, actually, it doesn't look like it is because that bishop on f1 is not going to be trapped. It's going to be able to run away back to h3 quite happily.
Yeah.
So this is okay for Black and is working. So So that doesn't work. So he can't take on c6. So he'd have to choose between after bishop h3. No. Okay, let's go for this position after e3.
Yeah, sorry, this is the actual game. He
Yeah,
obviously he made the judgment that the e pawn's just not worth taking.
Yeah, and here comes some nice tactics, I think, around here. So,
all right, cool.
Did something with his queen from memory.
Ah, no, he's played the previously mentioned f5.
Ah, he's played the previously mentioned f5. Okay.
So he's holding on to the pawn for one.
Yeah.
And like you say, he's already got some. I quite like black. I've got to say, he's taken a lot of space. I think a lot of black side, especially against d4 openings, you suffer for not having any space. It's a big trump for white.
Yeah, for sure.
So
He's got here. You can see that pawn on a4 is making. It's just making a little bit of a nuisance for itself. It's not like it's going to be exchanged off and going to give white any significant advantage, because then that rook's going to come into the game.
Yeah.
And if you leave it for too long, it might just push itself forward. And you could see, for example, here, if it did push itself forward, it would distract either the bishop or the knight. And then we could take our pawn on d4.
Yep.
So that, I guess, is what white maybe has to consider here.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's nice. It's nice in the position. So basically, he's trying to have everything here at old Din. He's like saying, right, well, I'm going to hold that e-pawn first, and then you're going to have to worry about this other threat that's just waiting over here.
Yeah, because typically when you play something like f5 in this type of position, white would like to respond with f3.
Oh, right, yeah, and undermine straight away.
But then I'm just a bit concerned that this idea that I had might be annoying of pawn a3.
But remember, is there enough defenders at the moment? Because he played e3. Is that not shoring up the defense a little bit? Is that not enough?
So now if we went a3, what's going to happen?
Let's have a look. What would we take it with?
No, we're not going to take it. We're going to go a3. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm on delay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sorry.
It's all right, mate. So I'd probably... Well, yeah, it's a bit awkward, isn't it? Because I guess you want to leave
probably take it with your knight.
Yeah, you want to leave the bishop on the long diagonal. You don't want to leave your rook open straight away, I guess, to the bishop on g7.
So you play knight takes pawn takes d4. And that's a pretty good trade to have made, because you're trading your a pawn for a central pawn. And so now he'd have to take on... Well, if he does that, then he's going to start getting into all sorts of trouble.
Yeah, it looks like it, yeah. White's
because his knight on a3 is going to be in some serious issues.
So he would take on e4, would he, instead?
Yeah. I reckon so.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
And then you take on e3.
Yep.
And this,
now the bishop.
This is going to be awkward.
Yeah, what we're going to do about that dark square bishop for white?
We're going to have to do something like trade the queens.
Oh, wow, okay. Straight ending.
And then trade the bishops.
Yeah.
And then that knight on a3 is still going to be hanging at the end of it all.
So you're still going to have to move that. Which you can. We can carry it on this line, can't we? Just, it only has really c2, doesn't it? To attack the e-pawn as well.
Yeah. And then
are we getting rook d2?
Yeah, or let's push the pawn first so it can't be taken.
Oh, I was going to take the a-pawn. I didn't know if there was a big difference. I didn't know we could hold on to this one. If we can, then obviously it's brilliant. Oh, right, and then when he attacks it with the rook, then we play rook d2.
Then we play rook d2, yeah.
Yeah.
And black's just really annoying white in a lot of ways.
Yeah, no, I like black a lot here. Okay, cool. So let's see what Emilio came up with. Because obviously, so that a3 idea is a very good one. So let's hope he noticed it. Otherwise, it's going to be a very, very quick game. So he responded to f5 with... Okay, so he's moved that bishop. So it's no longer getting distracted. He's moved it to c3.
Okay.
Is that simply to avoid all what we just talked about, do you think?
Probably.
Yeah, makes sense. So black's now got to come up with another move, right? Are we a pawn up here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No,
no pawns up. Yeah.
No, we're level. So what's black's play here then? I mean, again, if I'm just thinking about developing, I can't play bishop e6 because I'm getting forked. Though I guess it's still pinned, isn't it? That bishop on c3 is still pinned the whole time.
You could play bishop e6. Yeah, that's not a silly move at all. I suppose the only thing is you're going to try and anticipate what white wants to do, which is probably to play his pawn to f3 still. So you might want to try and be a bit faster. I don't know what happened, but I would be guessing here because you see some sensitive points in the black position. In the white position. So this pawn on b3 is a little bit vulnerable.
Yeah.
So I would be thinking here about something kind of thematic. If I could do it, and it might not be a good move. Yeah, Queen b6, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, you're keeping the tension in the centre as well as attacking another point, right?
Unfortunately, if you go Queen b6, you might be able to take your pawn on c5.
Attack 2. And is he getting rid of his problem of the dark square bishop then?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, of course, because you take c5, he takes g7, right?
Yeah. This, again, might not be desperate. I mean, it's not desperate at all. You'd have to obviously take the pawn. He's going to take on g7. You're going to take on g7.
Uh-huh. The light square bishop's still a little bit.
Right. This pawn on a4 just does a lot of good for the black position.
Yeah. I mean, even f3 is still a little bit difficult, I guess, because you're always looking after your e3 pawn as well. I guess that's the only benefit of that knight c2. It does hold a few squares that are useful together.
Sure.
Okay.
So what happened?
Yeah, I agree. Maybe he played that. I mean, it seemed well, like you say, maybe he doesn't want to walk down that line. He goes for okay, Queen c7. All right. Okay. Let me see what I can come up with that. Why he's not going to play f4 at any point, is he? Well, why is he playing Queen c7? Is he just getting out the way of the queen swap?
Mr. Dodgy Chess in the chat made a completely reasonable point, which is that when the pawn comes to a3 in those type of positions that we were looking at, the bishop can then move to c3.
Oh yeah, because we haven't got the knight there anymore, causing trouble on e4.
Yeah, so you can sort of wait for that to happen and then put the bishop on c3, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's reasonable.
Okay, all right, fair play. Good one, Mr. Dodgy. Thank you, mate. So has he just played Queen c7 just simply to get out of the way of the queen? So maybe he can play, I don't know, Rook d8 at some point.
Yeah.
Because that'd be nice, wouldn't it? I think a general rule of chess of lining up rooks with queens is a good idea, right?
Yes, indeed. You'll see what's going to happen in a minute.
Oh, interesting. Am I smelling the right lines? Okay, that kind of makes sense.
Smelling the right lines, yeah.
It's weird to put your knight on a3, but I'm guessing he's going in for b5.
Right, is that what happened? Knight a3.
Yeah. So.
Okay, you can sort of understand that he's coming to an outpost on b5.
Yeah, it's a nice square, and it hassles the queen a little bit. Do we have time to play Rook d8 here, and then if we have to, put our queen somewhere else?
Yes, I think that's a good plan.
So let's see if that happens. No, he took first.
Okay.
I wonder if that
probably doesn't make too much difference because white can always insert knight to b5, and the queen's going to have to move anyway.
Yep, true. Which he does. Which gives him a few more options, I guess. He's controlling d4 a little bit here as well, isn't he? So for the recaptures, he's got more choices. But where are we going to put our queen is a question.
It is a good question.
Because obviously on b8, we're not really playing Rook d8 because it's not defended. Or maybe we still are, I don't know.
It's defended by the knight.
Oh yeah, of course, sorry, thank you. So where are we putting up? So maybe we can play Queen b8. I just don't know, it just seems really...
You'd prefer to put it on b6, I think, if you could do.
Yeah, that's way more active. I'm sure he's going to do that. No, Queen b8, woo!
We played the Queen b8, okay.
That's really surprising.
So knight b5 happened, Queen b8?
Yeah.
In this position, yeah, okay.
I guess he's just arguing that he just wants to stay on that diagonal. Whatever he's got planned, he likes that b8, a2 diagonal.
Yeah. Let me just have a think. Why didn't he play Queen b6?
I was wondering if he went to Queen b6, was there any sort of recaptures at any point by the bishop on d4 and it just gains time on the queen?
You'd like to want to do that, but of course you can't quite do it yet because the knight's going to take your bishop, and I can't see how you're going to reorganize it so that would work. For example, if you were to take on d4 with your knight, he doesn't have to take back on d4 with his knight. He'll probably just go Rook d8 and pin you straight away.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to grasp at straws, mate. I mean, I'm not. Obviously, I don't. I'm never 100% sure in these sort of weird tactical positions, but all I'm thinking is that if he could at some point end up with a bishop on d4.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely, obviously, your queen looks more natural on b6.
Yeah, it does. Cause you're also threatening to take the e pawn as well, because you'll have 2 pieces on e3.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, very unusual. I wonder what he's seen here that he was worried about.
So here, queen b8, pawn takes pawn.
Oh, we're going to the queen b8 line. Sorry, I was just looking at queen b6. Just
No, because there's a concrete reason why he did it. Yeah, exactly, as Percy Hepworth says. So here, I think after pawn takes pawn, he can just take on d4, or he did take on d4.
Yes. And he took with a knight, bishop to.
So he couldn't do that if his queen was on b6.
Yeah. No, agreed.
Because his queen would get attacked, and then
which was what my first thought was. Maybe the bishop at some point attacks that queen. But Percy makes a very good point. You're defending your rook on a8 as well, which is probably useful if you ever do want to take on b3. So it keeps his queen out of trouble. And yeah, of course, rook d8 as previously advertised was probably always coming. So he's pinning the dark square bishop for now, threatening e5. I see a cheapo. That's all right. I'm good for cheapos, Adam. We still got Adam? You still there?
Yeah, sorry, I'm still here.
Deep thought. You're in deep thought.
I'm in deep thought. Exactly.
So yeah, how do we break this pin? It looks tough.
I'm behind you here.
Let me have a look. I can see from my side whereabouts you are. I did skip forward, but he's played rook d8 after the exchanges.
So was it knight takes d4, knight takes d4, rook d8?
Let me. I don't know. Press refresh on yours because, to be honest, it should have been there by now. It only takes about 10 seconds. He did e takes d, knight takes d, bishop takes d, and then he played rook d8, pinning the bishop. The knight's still on b5.
Okay.
And the threat obviously is e5. Is it even? Because he could take with the bishop attacking the queen, couldn't he?
The threat is simply to take on d4 and then to play e5.
Oh yeah, of course. The knight can't then do anything about that. Yeah. So how do we get out of this little pin?
So this kind of this black pawn chain on the king side is what black is kind of banking on, the fact that it's going to just take white quite a long time to get out of it or to weaken his position in order to do so.
Yeah. But I mean, sorry.
No, not at all. And if he can't do that, then black's going to be a pawn up, isn't he? If black can get everything in that he wants, he's going to be a pawn up. Though there should be time to do something about this, I reckon.
Yeah.
I mean, you could play some stylish move in this position, like bishop to a7.
Bishop a7, yeah, okay. Attacking the queen while the queen's attacked.
It doesn't quite work, unfortunately. I don't think.
So I'm guessing rook takes queen first.
Yeah, so you go down a short and kind of short so-called trunk of a tree in terms of a calculation. It's quite narrow, it's quite forcing, but it's
also really good for black.
It's easy to calculate in that you take on d1, they take on b8, you take on f1 with check because your rook is hanging.
Oh no, can you take... I was taking the a rook because it's defended by the bishop.
Okay.
I mean, now I'm attacking everything. Does this work? It looks like it works.
Your way is...
So instead of doing rook takes f1 check, take the a1 rook, because the bishop on g7 is protecting a1.
Yeah, it's the same, but your way is better.
Oh, that's nice to hear. I don't hear that often.
It's the same material either way. You're going to be a pawn up.
Yeah.
But your way is better because you have all sorts of pressure on pieces elsewhere in the position. So the pawn on a2 and the rook on bishop on b8, for example. So
currently bishop a7's not so good. So I'm to be honest, I'm struggling to see a way out of this for white.
Oh no, your way is just way better because you're going to win an exchange. Yeah. So yeah, you're better.
Cool. Now, as I say, that doesn't happen often, so I'm definitely going to be rewatching that part of the video about 10 times. Now, what does white do? How do we save a piece?
Well, you don't have to save a piece, and you can't save a piece, I don't think. But what you have to try and work out is how to save a pawn.
Oh, I
somehow.
see what you're saying, because he's already a piece up. That's
He's
what I'm
already a
missing.
piece up,
Yeah.
piece for pawn. So somehow White has to extract himself from that.
Any ideas, or should we just play the move?
I'm just gonna have to keep refreshing. Something weird's going on, which didn't happen before. Right, let's go through it. Let's see. We can't guess all the moves.
No, and to be fair, it's a move I wouldn't have guessed ever. But he played bishop b6, so he's sacking his queen.
Right, yeah. This is really interesting. Yeah, so he's sacrificing his queen.
Yeah, I mean that's spectacular for me. I'd already be like, sorry, am I just going to take your queen now? That looks very tasty.
Yeah, and this is really interesting because he's basically saying, I'm going to embarrass your rook on a8 because I've got time to do it, because I'm going to get my rook down to d8 and check your king, and then that bishop on c8 is going to be pinned to the queen.
Yep.
And I'm threatening to go bishop c7 at some point and even trap your queen.
Yeah,
so
it's quite clever.
It's quite a clever move. Of course, we've got to take the queen now, so you're basically all in some ways.
So basically what Adam's saying, really quick, sorry guys, because it wasn't on the board, is that he's saying the rook's dropping into d8 and then there's all sorts of trouble. Yeah, I mean, it's quite hard to get out of. But then I guess that bishop's still rubbish on g2. You wouldn't worry too much, would you? I mean, that's a lovely pawn on e4.
Okay, so rook takes queen is forced.
Yep, that's happened.
And I guess the rook on a1, which was under attack, is take it back.
Let's have a look. Yep. So that's, yep. And then, I played the move, which is a bit of a shame. But he obviously sees that rook d8's coming. So he plays bishop e6. Which
yeah, and that's quite handy because it frees up a square for his queen on c8. Yep. If it was trapped by a bishop to c7.
Yeah, exactly. The queen was it was checkmated basically.
You could then win the queen back with rook to d8.
Oh well, anyway, yeah, I mean that probably happens, to be honest. No, he didn't go for it.
No, it wouldn't happen because basically black would be a pawn up in the endgame for nothing.
Okay, I'll just put it on the board so people can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So where are we winning the pawn?
You've got 7. It's 7 versus 6.
There you go. I can't count. Basic maths. I've failed maths, so there you go. Although I am an accountant, so I don't know how that works. I didn't really. That's fail
interesting.
Maths. Yeah, it's a lie. It's not true. I didn't really fail maths, but I didn't get a great score.
I thought you were going to say it's not really true. I'm not an accountant.
No, I really am an accountant. So he didn't go for that. And you're right. Yes, he would. Black would just be a pawn up, and I'm sure Dingling would win that. So he went for knight c7 instead. So he's attacking the bishop and the rook. So what's the material here? Is there a full queen for a rook at the moment?
So it's a queen for a rook and a knight.
A rook and a knight, right? Yeah, cool. Right.
So there's a queen and a pawn for a rook and a knight. A knight to c7. And I suspect this is the point maybe in White's analysis where he got to and he thought, you know what, I'm doing quite well here.
Do you think he was thinking, I'm going to beat the world number 4 and...
Well, look at this position. You tell me what you would play as black in this position.
Yeah, to be
on the spot. Okay, your rook's being attacked on a8.
And my bishop.
And your bishop's being attacked on e6. Which is a free bishop, or it's an exchange on a8. So what are you going to do about this?
Well, I'll definitely give the exchange over a free bishop, but let's have a quick look. Because you've also got rook d8 coming with check again, haven't you?
Exactly. So actually, it's not a free exchange on a8. It's a whole
you lose your queen. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can't do this.
So what's the defense? Well, yeah, I mean, fair play to White. He's definitely set a problem here, hasn't he? Someone's suggesting rook a6. I don't know, because you still got to watch out for the check on d8. That's the problem. That's why I'm petrified of the check on d8. This is a typical response to a situation like this from an amateur player. I'm already my mind's racing, and I'm like, oh my god, I thought I was winning a queen, but now I'm losing my queen back.
Yeah, I mean here I think you're right in that you'd like to give the exchange rather than the than give the give the bishop for free.
But how do
what did he play? Well, you could play, for example, king f7 would be quite an easy way to get out of it.
That's true. Yeah, king f7 is nice and cool and calm. I like that. I was also looking at, can I play... no, I can't. I was looking at trying to play Queen C8, but that doesn't work at all. So yeah, so calm and cool would be King F7. What? Is there anything else? I'm obviously...
I mean, Rook A6 is, I think, an idea that happens in a moment, which is a nice move, very nice move.
Oh, okay. So good spot, Mr. Dodgy, then.
Very good spot, Mr. Dodgy, but I think King F7 looks like the only move to me.
Yeah, okay. So again, one of those situations, he does play King F7, and I guess it's the only move that doesn't lose the queen back, doesn't it? So, or major material, either way. And I must say, I suffered that, and I reacted there exactly how I would in a game. I just went into a mild panic, not being calm and saying, well, what are the only ways to get out of this? And I didn't even look at King F7. My mind was all over the place. I guess is that training or just playing enough chess?
Yeah.
Or is it just counting? You know, that tricky thing where you just go, hang on a minute, if I go there, well, I'm not losing my queen.
I think firstly it's about having a kind of control over the situation on the board, which is very easy to lose.
Yeah.
You know, we've been talking about who's going to be a piece up at the end of it and who's going to be exchange up and what have you, and that's very, very, very easy to lose. Whereas for somebody who's kind of a higher rated player, that's kind of, it's quicker and it's easier.
Yeah.
So
I guess they have a lot more confidence in the position of chess. Like they're saying, well, I still haven't done anything terribly wrong. There's probably a resource, right? Where I would already be going, oh, maybe I shouldn't have taken that queen, and that's the wrong attitude.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, and we only learn by playing these games, and if they don't work, I mean, you know, Cordova has taken a very brave decision. He's obviously a very strong player,
yeah,
much stronger than me. So, but you know, he's playing the position, and if it doesn't work out, I'm sure he's not going to be too upset about it. Obviously, he will be for his team or what have you. But
I guess he does have that. You know, when you are the underdog, right? We were saying earlier, he's gone for the throat kind of here, hasn't he? He's saying, well, this will cause him some trouble.
Absolutely,
which is the right attitude.
So what happens? King F7. What happens next?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've got those other moves. So he's finally doing that break that you've been mentioning for quite a while. He's played F3.
Right, so he's basing this on the fact that rook on A8 is still trapped, so he can take it any time.
Yep, and I think the rook has no squares, guys. Just pointing that out to them. The bishop's controlling.
So I think this is the moment you might go rook A6 just to break it out.
Okay, cool. I guess he's desperate to play F3 here, right? Just because that light square bishop's not in the game. Is that literally why he's lashed out here?
Yeah. I mean, if he could get that bishop in the game, then he's got basically all his pieces pretty active.
Yeah.
But it's quite a risky move to play because Black's still got, at the moment, 2 bishops. He's got a rook potentially coming into A2 if it can find its way there. And he's got a queen kind of, you know, in a perfect world eyeing up. You know, let's say you put your bishop on E5 at some moment.
Yeah. And
that shifted that knight off C7. You might envisage, for example, taking on G3.
Now, this is good stuff, Adam. These are good ideas that, you know, general ideas that you could end up doing. I like it. This is good for the video.
Because it's a little bit weakening to play F3, isn't it? I mean, it's natural, but I don't think there's any kind of necessity, for example, for Black to fall into the White's hands and just to take it off straight away. He's going to be able to confuse things first.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, I'll put that on the board just to show how good that bishop looks if Black did just swap. You know, because all the pieces are aiming up the queen side here, and I guess you could use that word that I never really understand, but White's pieces are starting to coordinate quite nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's got good control on the D5 square. I see that straight away. Yeah, it's looking nice for White. Okay, cool. But he's not going to do that. So let's see what he does do. Yeah, he plays that rook A6 move that you were talking about. So how is this? Is this because if the knight now takes the rook, which I'm guessing he has to, he's opening up the queen's now attacking the bishop. He's gaining an important tempi on the bishop.
Very much so, because you know, the rook's not doing anything on A8. He might as well get it done. You know, that he's going to lose the exchange. Let's do it now.
Yeah.
And because then obviously the file becomes open for the queen, so you might get the queen attacking B3, for example, when the knight takes the rook.
Yeah.
unless there's going to be some pawn to c5 to guard it, which is also going to open up line. So
nice move. Yeah. Nice move by
Looks like a nice move to me.
So yeah, knight takes, pawn takes, obviously. Now, like you say, the move will either be c5 or bishop somewhere. I mean, because it does look like black's winning the b pawn, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you wouldn't really want to leave your bishop there under normal circumstances. You would probably want to retreat the bishop.
I was going to say, if you play c5, you're cutting off one of your pieces, and you want to be a little bit careful, because then I guess that dark square bishop out of the game, if you like, and then suddenly
it can be hard to judge, because of course that pawn on c5 is a passed pawn, so that passed pawn could be, you know, heading towards becoming a new queen. It's kind of fairly difficult marginal decision to make.
I was gonna say, is this all on like judgment, like on endgame judgment, when you've done enough study on it, or you played enough of these
positions? It's probably still all about just calculation. So he's thinking c5, but then he's understanding that by playing c5 he's going to lose b3, and he's going to lose b3 to pawn takes, bishop takes, which is going to hassle his rook. If he puts his rook, let's say, on the wrong square, which is maybe off the d file, he's going to walk into some bishop d4 check at some moment as well.
Because it's all
and then the
off.
pawn's going to come to e3, and so it's very, generally speaking, for a strong player, it's all based on calculation.
It sounds like the bishop's going to leg it, but he's going to lose that pawn regardless. Then I guess black's just calculated he's winning that b pawn. He may not even take it. I guess he will, because he'll open up his light square bishop, etc. So let's see what he does. So after all that, he did play c5. So he is judging that is his counterplay then.
Yeah.
I kind of like it when that happens, when you talk yourself out of something and then it suddenly appears on the board anyway.
So then black's going to have to make a decision. As I said, pawn takes b3 looks like the most natural move. But he could also, because that pawn's gone up to c5, he could stick his pawn on e3.
Ooh. So
which would obviously threaten to win a rook.
Yeah, you got a nice nice fork. There's no time to be playing f4 or anything silly like that.
And the slight problem is that if you went after it with a rook, you might be walking into a pin down the diagonal with the opponent's bishop, with the dark square bishop. So actually, now I'm thinking about it, pawn c5, pawn e3 looks quite annoying.
Yeah, I mean, but saying that though, say he attacks the pawn with the f rook. You know, obviously looking after d4, he has to.
Right. And then I'm going to throw in my pawn takes pawn. I think I'm going to do it that way.
Dokey. And then he'll... Yeah, I guess, does he have time to take the e pawn
Take the pawn on e3, and I'll take your pawn on a2. And
yeah, that's a really fast queen. Yeah, you're queening on a1, aren't you? Of course. I've forgotten about our amazing dark square bishop.
Yeah, it's good, huh?
Yeah, that's really good. Gosh, black is looking good, let's put it that way. That's if he plays e3. From what we've just seen though, if there's not an obvious way to... How else do we stop the fork? We move a rook somewhere else, I guess.
Yeah, it's not easy to see another
Can we play
way.
rook d8 here? Attacking the queen?
Could do. The queen's going to come to a pretty good square, I think, anywhere there on e5.
On e5?
Could it come to e5, or is that going to allow that white pawn to start trundling down?
Well, we got. Can we play?
No, you can't put it on b7. That's not possible.
So hang on. So if you play it to the queen to e5, can I play f4?
Yeah.
And then where are we moving the queen now?
Let's say put it somewhere active, like b2.
b2. And now we start running the c pawn. If there's no immediate loss.
Start running the c pawn. I'm going to start running my e pawn.
Yeah, this is still looking quite hairy, isn't it?
It's very double-edged. So queen b2, for example, c6, e2.
And in fact, we're in trouble with bishop c3 coming, aren't we?
Right, exactly. That's the move, I think, that just saves black.
Yeah. Maybe he doesn't have time for this.
Doesn't look like it.
And it'd be hilarious now if he doesn't play e3, because it does look very strong. So
it does look like a good move.
Yeah,
what does he play? Come on, put us out of
Yeah, he's done it. Yeah, he played e3. So the obvious threat.
This would be so much better if it was live.
Yeah, that's the downside.
Build the tension.
For the guys that are late coming to this, I explained this at the beginning of the video, but Adam and I are going to do this live on Sunday, so obviously the tension will be way more heightened because we will be like, oh, what happens next? Obviously, we know the result of this game, and to be fair, this is quite a killing move, so I suspect it'll be over soon. But please tune in on Sunday as well, and hopefully you can live the tension with us. So yeah, he plays rook fe1, makes sense. So we were saying A takes B here, right?
That would be my guess.
No, he did play a move I was looking at, but I just didn't know if it was any good.
You shut the bishop down. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a nice move.
So it shuts again, sorry.
This comes back to this idea. You know that move f3, which looks like a really good move to play, but after pawn to f4, if that queen can get to f4 and the bishop can come behind it to e5, you're going to get checkmated.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, h2 is in trouble, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's a lovely move, f4. Again, it's just taking time out, isn't it? He's again not immediately grabbed any material. Though the line we looked at where, A takes B still looked like...
pawn takes pawn looks like a pretty good move as well, to be honest.
They're probably both winning, but this way is just... It's almost like saying, and I can stop anything that you're trying as well, isn't it? It's like he wants everything.
Yeah.
So he's gone for... As a reaction, okay, he's trying to get his bishop into the game. He's played bishop f1.
Jack, I'm just going to nip to the loo very quickly. Keep commentating. I'll be back in 30 seconds.
All right, I'll do it. So yeah, I mean, obviously, this is looking really bad. White is trying his hardest to get the bishop to c4 here, and then he'd be sort of holding on to material. And if he holds on to that material, then as we've been talking about, this c-pawn eventually, not right now because the queen's actually attacking the bishop, but we've got to try and get this pawn through, and the only way we can do that is if we're not completely getting busted over here on the b pawn. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen other than A takes B, because you don't want to allow white to get his bishop to c4. So I'm not really sure what white's going to do after A takes B. I don't see a follow-up. Ah, okay. The other thing is he is attacking the A pawn. I don't know if he's just going to say swap on, take the A pawn, lose the B pawn. That might be okay, actually. What I'm trying to burble on about is if he takes, we take back. Ah, do we have time? Because he's attacking our rook. Where are we going to put this rook? I guess then maybe now rook d8 might work. And going with what Adam was talking about, maybe we can get to queen e5 now, but the point is this pawn here is hanging, and I'm really not sure where we go from here. Unless, actually, I don't even have to move my queen there, do I? Oh yes, I do. I've got to watch out for that. But the threat is actually for us to take on g3. I mean, that's going to be quite explosive as well. So how does white deal with that? Because he just simply doesn't have time to take this pawn that I was talking about, because I think you just take here, and I'm pretty sure that white's just falling to pieces, regardless of that c pawn looking quite past. Because you're not taking back because queen takes, and then is that just winning the rook or something? I'm not sure. You can't take back. This is just death for white. I don't even know where you want to die. You want to die here, and then you just bring your bishop in, and it's just looking toasty. You can't defend with a rook. Well, you can, but you're taking this pawn as well. Basically, it's all over.
So, I've missed all the action.
Well, you missed some really interesting patzer and analysis, where it might have worked. I mean, I'll go through it quickly with you, actually, funny enough, because he's played bishop f1, and I was just saying that if the bishop got to c4, then he might be holding things together.
Okay.
I'm using might as a very loose term. But he's also attacking the A pawn, the A6 pawn.
Yeah.
So I was saying, well, if the tactical fest happened and he took on the B pawn and then A pawn took back, and then you tried to grab the A6 pawn.
Yeah.
That what am I doing? Sorry, whose move is it here?
Black's
sorry,
move, so.
Bishop takes B3, attacking the rook, but then you play rook D8 because we're trying to be active. But then we're scaring us into that square you were talking about in E5, and now you're really threatening on G3 as well. So there's no time to even take the a6 pawn because you just.
Yeah, it looks very slow, doesn't it? It looks very slow.
So I think, you know, he's desperate. If he gets a move, and I'm not even sure if the bishop got to c4, it's just going to make too much of a difference. Just feels like White's position's in big trouble here, regardless. But it's a try, I guess.
There's a nice finish, I think. Let's have a look at it.
Okay, cool. So Black responds to that with, huh, really? Okay. I mean, it's another route, a move I'd never spot. He played g5, defending the f pawn. And the reason I'd never spot it, because I'd always be thinking that Black needed to play something immediate here, like take the b pawn.
So why has he done that?
Yeah, that's my question to you.
It looks very counterintuitive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you said, looks like we should take the b pawn. I suppose you'd have to do something like calculate. If we did take the b pawn, we're opening the b file. So there might be some sort of AB, bishop B3, rook B1.
Yeah.
And that's maybe not something we consider too much.
Well, let's have a quick look at that then. So A takes, B takes, bishop takes, and yes, I went rook D8 because it looked you should gain time on the queen. But yeah, say you just played rook B1 instead. You're attacking the bishop, so the bishop's got to move somewhere, I guess.
But even that doesn't. That still looks quite promising for Black if he just moves it back somewhere.
So let's just put it on. Let's put it on D5 because we're attacking the F3 pawn then.
Okay, yeah, D5 looks like a good choice.
And then is he going to play bishop somewhere to attack the queen? It seems a bit pointless. I don't really get that.
No.
And he can't even play C6 in this line either, which is the other idea you want to try and play, right? You want to run that pawn. Could he take the pawn now? But then I guess you'll take the f pawn, and this still looks really, really good for Black.
Yeah, there's probably a few different ways that this is working.
So I wonder why. I wonder what the benefit.
Yeah,
of
I wonder
G5.
why he didn't do it like that either. Is he just saying?
Is he trolling?
I just want to completely control. You don't have a good move, maybe in that position.
Maybe he's calculated it all out and he got bored and he thought, you know what, I can also do. I could play G5 here.
So what happens after G5? Has he got any moves?
So yeah, so he's given White a move, and what does he go for? Okay, so what he actually just went for rook D3.
Okay.
I guess he can kind of double up now. The good news of the bishop on F1 is at least he's controlling E2, so the rooks can move a little bit.
Okay. So rook D3. What happens now?
So Black goes for and that defends the B pawn as well, doesn't it? So interesting. What does Black do? Ah, now he takes. Yeah, no, come on. Yeah, that's obvious, isn't it? Silly me. Oh, I just showed this sort of line where taking the G pawn's massive. How do you defend this?
So he took on G3 now.
Yeah.
And now you can't take on E3 with your D rook because of bishop D4.
Yeah, I'll just show that. But he could take with the other rook, right?
He could take with the other rook, yeah, for sure.
But he's still looking damn dicey. We're just taking the H pawn.
Yeah, that rook on D3 actually doesn't sit all that well. So you could also play. I reckon. Yeah, no, I think you probably could. No, so you would take on H2.
Probably, yeah.
And after King H1, you probably go Queen G3. I would guess.
Send in the queen. Yeah, mate on G1, as they say.
Mate on G1. The bishop would have to block it up, and then you play something like bishop H3.
Oh yeah, I'm liking this. And then you're really, I guess you're playing rook E2. Maybe if you can't get through, you can't get through. So rook E2.
Rook E2. And then there's going to be something stylish like.
Don't put yourself under pressure just in case there isn't.
Yeah, but you see, that's the problem. There is. So here you can take on G2.
With the bishop?
Yeah.
Yep.
Rook takes.
Yep.
Queen E1 check.
Yep. Oh, that's an interesting noise. King takes
That's
pawn.
just my phone.
Oh, cool.
King takes pawn. Bishop E5 check.
Oh, yeah. King H3, I guess.
And then Queen H4 is mate.
Oh, lovely.
So you just basically smother the king with your opponent's pieces.
I'm not saying. I don't know this for sure, but I reckon Ding's the kind of player, and that's why he played G5, mate.
Maybe.
I know it sounds
Yeah,
crazy, but he could have calculated that. He's that good.
it's possible, I suppose.
I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt because he's 2800. He saw everything, Adam, right from the first move.
Yeah, maybe. It's a nice mate, though, isn't it? Because
Oh, it's
he's
beautiful. And what?
tied the opponent up there.
That's a really nice spot as well. Thank you for that. That's beautiful. So that didn't happen. So he took the pawn, and White tried. Okay, it makes sense. He played h3 to stop all that shenanigans. But it still looks, just giving Black move after move here.
And then
Don't say that was.
Queen's coming in, maybe Queen f4. Is that a good move?
Well, it's what he plays, yeah. But I don't get it straight away, to be honest. I'm not going to.
So you're threatening Queen takes f3. The point is that you can't take on e3 because of Bishop d4.
Yeah. All that. Yeah, because now you're defending the d square. So whatever rook, now he can't take with this rook, guys, because now the pin's just coming in, and it's just game over again. Oh yes. Queen f4 is a dominating move.
It is a dominating move. Look at those pawns. The pawns, even though look at how how bad they look. So you've got doubled isolated e pawns. You've got doubled g pawns, but just the kind of dynamics of the position are so good for Black that it's not helping.
No, this is a very nice attack. So he tries King g2. What have we got here? Can we sack the pawn? Can we sack the bishop on h3, or is that totally unnecessary?
Oh, it's lovely. This is the tactic, yeah.
Oh wow!
Because, again,
I actually found it.
Thing.
Well,
it's
never.
The same thing, because the king on which goes back to g2 is going to be smothered by his bishop and his pawn, so it's forced checkmate.
No, it is, and he's resigned. So that was a fantastic attack, and a fairly imaginative idea by Emilio, giving up the queen to give him some chances, but Ding just dealt with it.
Yeah, and it was quite interesting the way that it went from such a symmetrical, boring-looking position to
fireworks.
That pressure that somehow Black exerted on the middle completely changed things and forced White into some ways into eventually sacking his queen, and it didn't quite work.
No, but and just to add to that, like what you're saying, I mean, even just throwing the a pawn down the board, it had a good reason behind it.
Absolutely. Just to gain some space, and it's normally quite a good idea for if White has a pawn on c4 to play a5 at some point, because then if White blocks it with a4, he's got a pawn on a4 and he's got a pawn on c4, which means the square in between on b4 is going to be a good one for a knight later, an outpost. So that's a pretty standard and sensible idea, I think.
What it's amusing in this game, just to sum it up a little bit, is obviously he won with a mating attack, but he could have won with that a pawn push, because he was going to win the b pawn, and it was pretty hard to stop anyway, wasn't it? The b pawn could have won it for him.
Yeah.
Just too many problems for the other guy, and I guess that's how you win games. You set more than one problem.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. Or ideally, on both sides of the board, it would be beautiful, and in this case, that sort of happened, didn't it? That White was having to deal with threats on the queen side and the king side, and it's hard to deal with them both. But yeah, nice game, and I don't think we're going to have time, unfortunately, to look at another one today. But as the tournament goes on, then the standard of the players and right at the top is going to be close, and hopefully
nice and tense for us for when we're commentating. We go, ooh.
Yeah. Hopefully Sunday will be a good day for sure. But even if you want to study another game, maybe a different day in the evening or something, and people want to look at it online and what have you, then it's fun to do, right?
Yeah, no, that was great, mate. Thanks very much for this. I'll obviously be advertising this everywhere, so you'll hear about it in the grapevine. But no, you've been awesome. Thanks so much, and I'm very much looking forward to Sunday. Where we can do this live.
Everybody who's watching, who was watching or playing on Sunday, then hopefully hang around for a bit of commentary afterwards. And
I will also mention we're going to get Adam set up, so he's going to get his own Twitch channel, etc. So this is just like a warm up for him. So hopefully he's got a new online career ahead of him, where obviously he's fun to watch. So hopefully he'll get that up and running as quickly as possible. So we could potentially be reversing this very soon, and I'll be the guest chatter on your one, if that's all right.
Sounds good. Absolutely.
Cool. All right, mate. Well, you have yourself a top night. And
Thank you very much.
and
You too.
I'll speak to you soon.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'll just say goodbye to the guys. I'll hang up on you for now, but I'll give you a
Sure.
call in a minute, mate.
Okay.
See you
See you
later.
later. Bye.
Bye. So that was awesome. I really enjoyed that. I hope you guys did too. He sees so much. It really helps. You know, I've had some great commentators the last couple of days, but you know, that was awesome to get a total player involved. Obviously, he sees a lot more. I mean, that mate he just pointed out before this mate. I mean, that was brilliant. So yeah, we're going to do it again live on Sunday. Just before that, we're going to be doing a Ginger GM simultaneous, where he's probably going to destroy all of us. But my Chess Patzer clan are going to be taking him on, so that should be fun as well. So if you guys want to tune in around 12 p.m. BST, you'll get to watch that. But apart from that, I'll probably see some of you tomorrow, and the rest, hopefully, if you want to come back, I'll see you on Sunday. So cheers and good night.